Zach Cregger, director of Barbarian, a movie which is a top 3 horror movie in the 2020s so far for me. Quite possibly is in my top 15 horror movies of all time. I don't quite know that much, but it is a fantastic movie. Well, he has a new film coming out this weekend. It's titled Weapons, and I was very much anticipating the movie. Not only does it have, or did it have, I don't know if it still does, but an 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Every critic I trust has been raving about this movie. I thought the trailers looked awesome, and the premise was intriguing. So, first chance I get, I'm off to go see that movie. Literally the first screening I could after work, and I just got home. And let's be completely honest, it's 12 o'clock at night here. I got work at 6:30 in the morning. So, yeah. But this movie is one of those movies that I get home from the theater, and I'm thinking, I can't wait to film the review. I can't wait to get up, work all day until about 5 o'clock, and then come home and film the review. I can't wait for that. Because I need to talk about the movie now. So, it's 12 o'clock at night, we're talking about the movie, and it's bizarre because I don't even know how much of the movie I can actually talk about. Because there's so much stuff I didn't know going into the movie that would venture into spoiler territory, so I am going to have a spoiler review coming out this weekend where I'm going to break down the movie, break down all the individual parts that I can't talk about in this review. So I don't know how vague I'm going to go. I don't know how this review is going to turn out, but we're going to talk Weapons. Before I dive right in, please make sure to subscribe, like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what are your opinions on Weapons, the new film by Zach Cregger. Were you looking forward to it if you haven't seen it? And if you have, did you like it? And with that said, I already said I was very excited for the movie. Barbarian is a fantastic movie. The same creative team that did that did Companion, which is my favorite movie of 2025. And now they did this movie, which is also great. Unfortunately, the first 45 minutes don't quite work. And we're going to talk about my negatives first, just so I can get those out of the way before I get to the positives. But the negatives, the first 45 minutes are a little bit rough. Not gonna lie, I was sitting in that theater and I was like, I'm not sure if I like this. I feel like the creative decision they decided to do made way to introduce so many plot lines that just kind of felt, at that time, irrelevant to the story. Like, without diving into spoilers, there's, like, several plot lines that are just like, are we watching a different movie now? This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense to what's going on with the story. And I do think mostly everything was completely resolved by the end of the movie. I really think that a lot of the things were just absolutely resolved by the time the credits roll. But that first 45 minutes were just incredibly mixed to me. There's so much I was like, I'm really invested here. But then we'll get to the next scene. I'm like, what's going on? What's the point here? And I do say mostly perfectly resolved. Some of them weren't. Even on my ride home with my brother and my best friend who went to see the movie with me, I was sitting there and we were all having this discussion. And we were like, yeah, but like, does this make sense for the movie? Or did that make sense? Or they never really fully explained that. I do feel like a couple things, it's very hard to explain without diving into spoilers, but something so weird happens, and I feel like certain characters should have done this instead of doing this so that they actually do it in the movie. So characters throughout the entire movie do make some very dumb decisions, I personally think. And then one more thing, Julia Garner isn't that likable. I didn't like her that much in the first act of the movie, in the first 45 minutes. By the end of the movie, I liked her a little bit more, but I don't feel like her arc is something I really like, honestly. She was my least favorite character out of all the characters. And we do get quite a bit of characters. I wasn't the biggest fan of hers. I do think her performance is great. The way her character written, I didn't really love. Okay, we're 5 minutes into this review, and I haven't talked the positive at all. I've sounded a lot negative. You might be watching this review if you skip the intro. Then why would you do that, you weirdo? Like, who skips the intro? Okay, I skip the intro sometimes. But, shouldn't have done that here, because that was all negative. I left that theater loving the movie. I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I complained a lot already. Forget all that. Yeah, we're done complaining. Boom. 5-star movie, or 4.5-star movie. And those complaints are what holds the half star back. Because once we get to a certain point of the movie, where a certain creative decision happens. And if you watch the movie, from the very first part of the movie, you'll be like, okay, yeah, I see what they're doing here. We're going to do this throughout the movie. And once we hit a certain part of that, and you're going to watch this review, and if you haven't seen the movie, and you're going to think, what the hell is this guy talking about? But then you watch the movie, and you're like, that's what he's talking about. And I don't want to spoil it. So you will know, you hit a certain part, you're following a certain character, and I think the movie goes from what's going on here to, okay, I'm invested. I'm really liking what they're doing here. Okay. And then something happens, and then we get another creative decision. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is interesting. What I didn't like what they were doing before, I really, really enjoy here, and I like what they're doing, and I kind of feel all the pieces coming together, and it doesn't really slow down. Like, quite literally, I went to the bathroom at a certain part, I came back, we start entering a thrilling moment, and then the movie just doesn't stop for me. Like, the movie just goes 0 to 100, and then it kicks in. The first 45 minutes are just so slow. I'm like, I don't really like this. I don't like what we're doing here. And then we completely stop that, and everything starts coming together. Very hard to talk about, but when we get to the third act of the movie, everything starts coming together, and it makes sense. Where you get Barbarian, there are spoilers for Barbarian if you haven't seen the movie. Go watch Barbarian, highly recommend. That's going to get the Zach D. Film seal of approval. But that movie, you think it's just a movie about two people. They're in an Airbnb together, and they don't mean to be in an Airbnb together. It's kind of this mystery here. What's going on? There's something in the basement. By the end of the movie, it is a movie about a monster demon thing chasing them, and it subverts so many expectations. And that's what people love this movie for, is that it's a roller coaster ride that subverts expectations. You're going to get that at the end of this movie, where you might look at the title and you might think, weapons, okay, these kids go missing, what's going on here? What's the point of all this? And by the time we get to the end of the movie, I'll tell you what, I feel like the reveals were satisfying, I feel like the reveals were honestly really creepy, but I also feel like I wasn't expecting that at all. So many movies you can watch and be like, okay, that's the ending, that's what's going to happen, no stakes, because boom, know exactly what's going to happen. And a lot of movies I can get completely uninvested in the third act. Here, I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea about anything that was going on because the expectations were averted. The expectations are so insane that when what's revealed that matches those expectations and sometimes exceeds them. Another thing is, this movie manages to be terrifying without being outright scary. There are so many sequences that really don't feel like they're trying to be scary that I'm just completely unnerved by. There's a certain character, and it's very hard to say this. Very, very hard. Because it is a big spoiler, and I'm going to talk a lot about that in the spoiler review, but how do I say this? Certain character, first scene, very unnerving, and every other scene is very unnerving with this specific character. I think that's good enough. No spoilers there. And so, saw this scene, and I'm like, there's nothing scary going on here. It's a simple conversation, but I'm really unnerved. I'm really creeped out here, and it just doesn't stop. There's so many scenes where it's just two people having a conversation. You're like, I don't feel right. I feel like there's something going on between these characters, and I feel very unnerved. I feel very creeped out, and that's what really works here. Now, yes, there is the jump scares. A couple of them were cheap, like, oh, that's scary, but okay, yeah. There's one that really got me near the end of the movie that, I'm not going to lie, I was literally like, oh my god, in the theater. And it didn't get my best friend that much. I think it got my brother. I don't know. But it sure got me. So thanks for that. But the movie is more tense. Directing-wise, by Zach Cregger, adds the tension to the scenes where it doesn't have to outright be jump scares or blood and gore to make the movie scary. Like Bring Her Back. I love Bring Her Back. I thought it was a great movie. The Filippo brothers are great horror filmmakers because of what they can do. They can make grief be scary, and that's what they did in Bring Her Back. But I feel like the main fear in that movie is gore and the visuals where the kid's gnawing on the knife or he's gnawing on the table or he does a lot of mouth stuff. Yes, Sally Hawkins' performance in that movie adds to the fear of what she's able to do, but a lot of it is the gore and stuff. This movie, it has some gory sequences. It has quite a bit of gory sequences, actually. But there's never anything that's outright scary in the gore. It's just like, okay, yeah, you've seen this gore before. The scariness is within the scenes with simple conversations between the characters that I was unnerved by. I was genuinely creeped out by. And so the horror really works in this movie. Zach Cregger's direction, his creative style is great. I've read a lot of Letterboxd reviews after the movie. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I don't like the way he shoots his films, or I don't like the way that his POV shots, they made me car sick, was a specific review. And I can't disagree more. I think Zach Cregger's direction style is perfect. The movie's shot beautifully. There's not a single shot where I was like, what's happening? What's going on? I could tell everything that was happening. Thought it was great. Also, the movie can be specifically funny. I think the movie gets more funny as it goes along. And me and my best friend were talking on the ride up there, and he's like, we were both very excited for this movie. And he said, yeah, but I've heard it's kind of funny, which kind of sets me off from the horror movie. And I think that kind of worked for it, where I'm seeing, again, a lot of people saying that they don't like the ending. They think it's so insane. For me, I think the insanity works. I think it's funny. Simple conversations or simple little details in the movie just made me chuckle, where no one else was chuckle. So maybe it's just me, maybe it's just my sense of humor, but I thought the movie was specifically funny. I thought that it never quite cut the tension in being funny, but it also, like, didn't come off as cringe or weird in the comedy. I found it to completely work. So, I mean, first 45 minutes I was completely uninvested. After that, the movie just cranks it up with reveals that are satisfying and just a movie that's able to just be so tense and quite literally terrifying. And just like Barbarian, a movie that subverted my expectations, which were very high, and made the movie higher in my opinion. I only gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd because I just can't bring myself to give it 5 because of the first 45 minutes. But I love the movie. Before I give you my final score, please make sure to subscribe, like button, and hit the bell, and comment down below what are your opinions on Weapons if you have seen it, and if you have not seen it, are you excited for it? Are you going to watch it this weekend? I would love to know all that and more. For me, I am switching up some scoring that I do. I figured I'd mention it here real quick because I'm still keeping it with the letter score, but I'm also going to have like a subcontext. Like the top one is the Zach D Films seal of approval. The second one is instant buy on 4K. The third one is, go out and see it. The fourth one is wait for streaming. And the fifth one is trash it and burn it, throw it out. So this one's going to get an A from me, and it's going to be an instant buy on 4K. Don't think it's going to get the guarantee or the seal of approval for me, but go buy it out in 4K as soon as it comes out. Go see it in the theater. I'm going to buy it in 4K as soon as it comes out. I loved Weapons. Tell me your thoughts down below. And with that said, subscribe.